Hello and welcome back to Scholastically Natalie. Today, since we spent all of last week reading A Christmas Carol together, I figured we can do a book talk on it and talk about just like a bit of an overview of it. So if you weren't interested in listening to me read out loud all 5 staves of it, I understand. And here's kind of like a nice discussion about the book instead. So, we will be talking about Charles Dickens. So, here's a brief overview, like nothing specific. If you're deeply interested in him, go ahead and look him up. He lived during the Victorian era. He died in 1870. He was born in 1812, clearly during the reign of Queen Victoria. And he actually was popular during his own lifetime, which I know a lot of like literary, acclaimed literature authors? I don't know what I'm trying to say there. A lot of those people only got popular after they died, like a lot of artists. As, like, famous artists. Oh my gosh, wow. And a lot of people tout him as being a literary genius, which, like, we shall see. I haven't had to read any Charles Dickens, actually, which is kind of surprising. So I figured for a summary, we can look at the preface, because I was trying to Google, like, a Christmas Carol blurb, or, like, what they put on the back of the book, because I had the PDF. And all the ones I found were ones that people had made themselves, so I just put the preface. Preface? Preface. I can't pronounce words, I'm sorry, on here. So this says, I have endeavored in this ghostly little book to raise the ghost of an idea, which shall not put my readers out of humor with themselves, with each other, with the season, or with me. May it haunt their houses pleasantly, and no one with to lay in it. Ooh. I apologize. I think I might have typed that incorrectly, because that doesn't really make sense to me in that last sentence. Their faithful friend and servant, C.D., written in December of 1843. So here are some quotes that I liked from the book. There are some upon this earth of yours who claim to know us, and who do their deeds of passion, pride, ill will, hatred, envy, bigotry, and selfishness in our name, who are strange to us and all our kith and kin, as if they had never lived. Remember that, and charge their doings on themselves, not us. I really loved reading this in the book, because if you don't feel like having to interpret all this flowery language, what they're saying is, hey, some mortals claim to know the will of the spirits or higher beings, and who will do terrible things in their name, even though these higher beings may have never endorsed it and do not know them. And so they themselves are to blame for their own actions, not higher beings, which I like. It's a sentiment that I endorse, because, you see all these cults, or like even some more questionable, like, televangelists who are just like, give me money, give me money, give me money, and it's like, I don't know if I can say if that's been endorsed by, like, God, or a God, or whoever you believe in. I'm not 100% positive that your personal deity has gone yes. You should ask all of your followers and people who trust you to just give you all of their life savings because you want a Ferrari. So it's stuff kind of like that. And, there's a lot of very good examples throughout the years of people using religion or their own personal beliefs to kind of twist and fit their point of view. I mean, in the South, when we were fighting the Civil War, I mean, you had people who used Bible passages to justify slavery. I mean, it's something that is very, very common. Because people are never, the villains of their own story. They're always the heroes. And sometimes we believe we're heroes chosen by God, which is a little strange and kind of pompous, but you do you as long as you're not hurting other people. So, here is the second quote that I really enjoyed. You fear the world too much, she answered gently. All your other hopes have merged into the hope of being beyond the chance of its sordid reproach. I have seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one, until the master passion, gain, engrosses you. Have I not? This is during one of the This is during when the ghost of Christmas Past came to visit and takes Scrooge back to see him breaking up with his then fiancée/girlfriend. And she's essentially like, you're too scared of the world in general, and you've lost all your hopes into making sure that you've gained enough that nobody can ever hurt you, or like, so that you are untouchable, essentially. And I think that's really interesting because, you see a lot of people like that, like social media influencers and like politicians and just famous people in general who are like, I need all of this clout, all of this money, all of these things so that you can't touch me, or like, because I deserve them. It's some interesting things like that. And often you may find people in your life who aren't as successful as, famous people, who still are like, yes, I need money, and then they reach the goal that they need that money for, and they're like, yeah, but I still need more because I'm scared of what the future will bring. I'm a little bit of the too far opposite. I'm like, oh, this seems like a great thing to spend my money on in the moment. But, it's kind of like a nice warning. And so then we come to the question of, how is A Christmas Carol still even applicable to this day? It was written in the Victorian era. We're in the 2000s. Not the 2000s. We're in the 2000s. This was written in the 1800s. Like, that's such a long gap. And even so many of these themes we still see perhaps even more than when this was written. Because ultimately, while the point is, yes, you should, give to people in need and like, not be obsessed with money, but what you really see come through in the story itself, rather than just, the movies or adaptations where they're like, oh my gosh, Scrooge wouldn't even let go of a penny, which is a point, but not the main point. The main point is that sometimes you're far removed. When you have enough, you are removed from the struggles of other people. You don't see them, you don't hear about them, and when you do, they seem far off and unimportant. You're disconnected from the world at large because you yourself are secure, and feel good about it. I'm secure and I feel good about it. And I find a lot with like the people around me that me bringing up the struggles of other people is, oh, well, they're doing this wrong. Oh, well, it's because these people are doing this to them. And like, we never see that, oh, maybe we should just help them. And so it's definitely a point. I mean, you see people all the time being like, oh, just so disconnected. I've seen so many people pointing out to like politicians on Twitter, like, especially with like the stimulus check for America coming now, who just don't understand what it's like to be in poverty, who cannot even comprehend that people might be in poverty and might be 9 months late on rent. Like, and that is the sort of disconnect that Dickens is talking about in here, that even if this seems like a far off and unnuanced topic for you, or something faint and unimportant, or that couldn't possibly be affecting that many people, even so, maybe we should try to take it seriously. Maybe we should try to help. And I really like that one because it's like, your need for money and status and power, and just even your need for money to even just survive, it blinds you to others, and it blinds you to what discontent or harm even that you may be doing to others. Because Scrooge doesn't see that he's hurting the people around him, that he's rejecting the people around him, just by, not wanting to spend more money on coal for his clerk, by not wanting to pay him more because his clerk should be fine. Like, stuff like that, where it's like, oh, well, it was his clerk's choice to have all those kids, so he doesn't need a raise. Like, it's stuff like that where it's like, yeah, but even so, is that right? And I think it's still a very valid moral question. It's a very valid ethical question. And I think Dickens expressed it so eloquently, because it's like, how do you want to be remembered when you die? Because that is the question he's asking. Do you want to be known as somebody who was kind and helpful and willing to give to those in need, willing to help friends, willing to spend time with family, to take time off of work, to go the extra mile? Or do you want to be somebody who nobody even wants to go to their funeral because you never made connections with people, because you were too focused on your own goals, on your own gains, to even try to build up meaningful connections or even give to others, even through charity? And I think that is such a great question, because it's something that still applies. It's something we still have to think about. And I really appreciated just seeing that like seep through with A Christmas Carol, as you just watch Scrooge see these scenarios which, even though they're set in the past, you can still far too easily see happening today. We walk by people on the street without a second glance, and most of us don't even think about what other people are experiencing or going through. And of course, I'm not saying that we have to be cognizant of it all the time, but we do have to try to be aware that, people we encounter have their own stuff to deal with, and we don't need to make their lives any harder than they need to be. And I think that's a wonderful Christmas or holiday sentiment. I hope you all had great holidays. I don't know if there's any holidays still ongoing. I know that the Chinese New Year kind of takes a whole month off, so if you are celebrating any relevant holidays, or happy New Year's. So, happy New Year's, happy holidays. I hope you all have had just kind of a nice time. I hope you got to see people. I hope you got to communicate with people if you couldn't see them in person. And I hope you know that you are not alone in what sometimes feels like a very large and unforgiving world. Because in the end, there will always be somebody who wants to help you and who wants to be there with you, even if it's somebody you haven't considered, it's somebody you haven't thought of. And so we should all try to be that person for somebody else. Hopefully this can leave you with some nice thoughts. If you have opinions of your own, feel free to leave them in the comments or tell me about it. I'd love to know. I hope that I expressed myself in a way that was easily understood, because I confuse myself sometimes. Side note. The reason this video is late is because I can't stop playing Spiritfarer. It's great. It's a game for the Xbox and the Switch. I don't know what else it's on. I love it. It's amazing. It does deal with death in the afterlife in very interesting ways. But yeah, I've just been obsessed with it. I can't stop playing it. It's really bad, actually. So that's what I've been doing. You can catch me posting random tweets about it. But besides that, I hope we can all have a great 2021, and hopefully things will be looking up now. So, remember to like if you liked the video, to subscribe if you want to hear a little bit more from me, and to leave a comment to let me know what you think about A Christmas Carol and about classics having places in the modern human life. Okay, I'll see you all next time. Scholastically Natalie is out.